getting the study results you have aimed for despite putting in substantial effort. Here are some study tips that may help you to study and memorize more effectively. Tip number 1. Check what will be tested in the paper. The last thing you want to do is to spend time on topics which are not tested or sections which are unlikely to be tested. You can do this with your teachers before your papers. If you are taking a self-study examination, do search online for forums to see if there are discussions amongst fellow test takers who are discussing high-yield topics. Tip number 2. Form a checklist of the chapters which you will need to study. Instead of studying the chapters according to their order in your textbooks, you may skip the tougher chapters and come back to them later. I recommend going through each chapter thrice before each major examination. This checklist will also help you to keep track of your progress. Tip number 3. Most students tend to set up their own notes, and some of them will come up with amazing designs, which is great. However, there is a difference between transferring notes, which is basically copying the same information into multi-pages, versus condensing notes into 1 or 2 pages. Condensing notes into 1 or 2 pages is fine, but rewriting them completely takes up a lot of time and may not be the most efficient way to study. You may want to check if there are study guide books available in the market which have already helped you to organize notes into bullet points. Buy these books and highlight them or annotate them directly. This will help you to save time in setting up notes. Tip number 4. Instead of rewriting your notes, try to note down questions as you study. For instance, you may be studying the cell structure. Instead of writing down information about the cell structure, note down a question such as draw a cell and name their components. For some of the audio learners, you may also record your notes as voice memos and listen to them on your way to school. Tip number 5. Most of us hate memorizing information. However, do you know there are a lot of ways to memorize? Firstly, always try to understand the concepts and why you are memorizing something before you do it. This will help you to memorize more easily and know where to apply the information. Try to search online for mnemonics or stories which other students have already set up to help them memorize a piece of information. You may also want to test yourself by writing the information out on a piece of paper after you have remembered it. Audio repetition helps a lot. I have remembered the metal reactivity series by repeating the following out loud: potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver, gold. Tip number 6. Practicing is probably the most important thing you have to do while studying. Do source for practice papers by asking your teachers or seniors on where to find them, or by exchanging practice papers with your schoolmates. Some schools also have a past year papers resource library. Be sure to tap on them. Tip number 7. As you are doing your practices, highlight the really tough questions you have came across. This allows you to identify the difficult questions easily and revise them first when revision time is limited just before your papers. Tip number 8. Keep a small notebook to copy down all the questions you have came across while studying and clarify them with your teachers, seniors, or schoolmates at the very next chance you get. Clear every single question you have noted down in your notebook. This ensures that you don't ignore any questions you have came across, which may appear in your examinations later. Tip number 9. Find study buddies. They may be your seniors, schoolmates, or juniors. You may collaborate with them on the setting up of notes. For instance, one person may prepare the notes for chapters 1, 3, 5, and the other may prepare the notes for chapters 2, 4, 6, and you can share your notes later. You can also check with each other on your understanding and split the work on sourcing for practice questions. Tip number 10. Shout out for help when you need it. One of my friends said that the greatest regret he had when he was studying was not asking his parents for a tutor when he was struggling with his schoolwork. In the end, he did not do well in a major examination and was offered the least popular course in college, which he disliked but had to take it. Do know when to ask for help, and typically you will get it when others know that you are making an effort to study. What are some other tips that have worked for you? Please share them in the comment box below. Also remember to like and subscribe to the channel.